Okie dokie. How are all of my fellow war monkeys doing? It's, let's see, it's about time for another little book haul video. I've got a stack of books that have been accumulating over the last couple of weeks, and they are ready to be sorted, and I think most of these are going to get posted. I think we'll start off with hardbacks again because that seems fun. And at the top of my stack here, I have something, and it's one of those things I don't think that anyone would argue that it's science fiction, except for maybe me. But I have here Ancient Evenings by Norman Mailer, and Mailer used to be extremely popular, and I'm not really certain how many people in the millennial age group, or especially the Gen Zs, probably don't have a lot of experience with or palate for Norman Mailer. His his personal politics, for the time things were different, but he's not an agreeable person, especially in terms of my own personal beliefs. But all of that to say, this book is really something, and I don't really know much about the research that Mailer put into this book, but I would imagine that it was quite a bit. And essentially this follows a series of dynastic Egyptian families, and it gets really, really wild. I've got the sequel to Otherland by Tad Williams. I think this is I don't know, this may not be a book club edition. Sticking with our Egyptian theme here. No, this is just an edition. So, anyway, I have not read Otherland yet, but it's one of those books that every time I see it on the shelf, I just sort of gravitate to it, and I think, man, I really got to sink my teeth into that. So, this one actually might hang on to this until I get a chance to read Otherland and kind of go from there. Let's look at 2 copies of the same Stephen Donaldson book. I've never read any Donaldson. I know that a lot of people really enjoy him, and so I tend to grab them when I can. I also found these by Donaldson, The Mirror of Her Dreams and A Man Rides Through. I believe these are both in the same series, Volume 1 and Volume 2. I don't know anything about these, but I do know that people enjoy him. So I also never pick up Terry Goodkind novels. Anytime you go out there in the wild, they're there along with the Robert Jordans, and they exist, and people read them, and I usually leave them right where they are. But this was a first edition in good quality, so I figured I'd go ahead and grab it. Somebody will want it. It didn't need to go in a dumpster. And as I just mentioned, Robert Jordan, I found these, which are not your typical Jordan prints. So this is book 1 and book 3. Book 2 somebody had already grabbed, I suppose. But these are nice, large trade paperbacks, and they were also worth grabbing because they're in great shape, and these will resell very well. Famous last words, right? I think if you remember back a couple of videos ago, I'd found there were these 2 story compilations that were put out by Doubleday, and they were horror themed, but they had some great sci-fi writers in them. I found another one in that series. This one is Vampires, 2 centuries of great vampire stories, edited by Alan Ryan. It looks phenomenal. I'm personally not into vampire myth, and I could give a shit, but these are great books, and when I posted the others online, they sold almost immediately, so there is absolutely demand for them. So I'm excited that I found that. I also found a copy of Sandworms of Dune. I find this one pretty regularly, and it's honestly surprising when I post them online, they end up selling. But I'm just kind of shocked that anybody's buying Brian Herbert, but I didn't say that. Found a copy of The Reluctant King by Lesprog de Camp. Lesprog de Camp. Elspraug de Camp. Okay, fuck it. And a copy of West of Eden by Harry Harrison. I own a copy of this already, and it's pretty far up on my reading list. I'd really like to get this one knocked out. I'm very curious. And this is a book club edition of Double Exposure by Piers Anthony. Again, I am not an Anthony reader or fanatic, but they tend to be out there in the wild. I tend to find them, and people tend to buy them. I found this really rad copy of Orion Shall Rise. This is mine. I don't think I can let this one go. And this is a book club edition. It's in great shape. It feels like it's never been opened. And the dust jacket's in really good condition too. So, I found a new print of Tropic of Cancer. We've got Cat Magic by Jonathan Barry and Whitley Strieber, and I probably wouldn't have picked this up but for the Whitley Strieber part. But who doesn't like a little bit of cat magic? Look at that, the cat knows what's up. Also found a copy of Ogre by Piers Anthony. This one is also a book club edition, and it belonged to a calligrapher, Richard Redenbach. Well, Richard, it's ours now. He even got his ink over on this part. You can see that, but yeah, that one's gonna definitely go on the sell pile. This is a really fantastic cover, though. This is one of those covers that if I could get it on a t-shirt, I'd wear it. And let's see, this is pretty exciting. I found a copy of Mask Theory by Jack Vance. And man, whew. Yeah, no one can have this. It's in relatively good shape. It's got a couple of blahs on it, but I'm pretty sure that this is this is a first edition. Very excited. And then I found a copy of Nightfall by Asimov and Silverberg, which is pretty astonishing. I didn't know that the two of them wrote a book together, but seeing it here before me, I'm like, well, of course they wrote a book together. And then I had, let's see, I had some particular luck with Zelazny and the Chronicles of Amber. Now, if you've watched any of these other book hauls, you'll know that I have found a copy of Volume 2 solo many times. But on this particular outing, I found both Volume 1 and Volume 2. And then I went to another place and I found a loan copy of Volume 1, which I can now put with one of the loan copies of Volume 2. So effectively what I ended up with is 2 full sets, Volume 1 and Volume 2. And I think that they are all book club editions. They are all book club editions. And I believe that the ones that I have upstairs are book club editions. So that's a stellar find for me. That rounds out some listings. Okay. Let's see. There's just a couple more hardbacks here. So I found a a first edition of Galapagos, which I will probably keep because I am a Vonnegut fiend and I'm always trying to make my Vonnegut collection nicer. So I was very excited about that. I love this book, by the way. And I found a non-dust jacket version of Footfall. And it's funny, I have a dust jacket version that's in really great condition on my eBay page, and there's really nobody interested in that book, and it's very surprising. It's a great book. It's a hell of a lot of fun to read. I'm not really sure why nobody wants to give it a go, but I guess there's just too much stuff out there to read. And you got to call it somewhere. Like, do I want to read a Larry Niven book from the 80s, or do I want to read The Three-Body Problem? Where are you going to put your effort? So, let's see. All right, let's start off with some cool paperbacks here. So I found this copy of Two Planets by Kurt Loswitz. Have no idea, no clue. I'm going to bring you in here just a little bit with these paperbacks. Let's see if I can do something about that glare. That's probably been a thing the whole time, right? I'm a horrible videographer, people. There you go. How's that? That's probably way better. There you go. Yeah, now you can actually see that. So, Two Planets looks very cool. It was in great condition. This came from that same thrift store that I just keep finding just killer vintage stuff at, that I guess somebody is just liquidating their whole collection. But anyway, very fun. I found a copy of the Majapahit Chronicles by Silverberg in paperback. This is where it really started to get spicy. I was going through the shelves and was finding some decent stuff, and all was good and fine in the world. And then I came across this little knot of books. I found a copy of To Your Scattered Bodies Go by Philip Jose Farmer, and then I found the entire Dungeon series, and they are in great condition. So we've got the Black Tower, the Dark Abyss, the Valley of the Hunter, the Lake of Fire, and the Hidden City. All delicious Philip Jose Farmer. And this is a great print edition. It's embossed. Feel that nicely. They did a really nice job on these. And I was super excited to find it because someone is going to love these. Found a copy of Neuromancer and a copy of Foundation's Edge. I found The Avatar by Poul Anderson. I think he should probably do some lawsuits, but that's cool. He should get on. He's not going to win. He's dead. Operation Chaos by Poul Anderson. The Winds of Altair by Ben Bova. Brother to Demons, Brother to Gods by Jack Williamson. Look too cool to leave there. Don't know anything about this. This is Thomas the Rhymer by Ellen Kushner. I feel like when I picked it up, something in my brain said, you've heard of this, you should grab it, it's in good condition. So that's what I did. I don't know. Then I found a copy of A Life for the Stars by James Blish. I'm telling you, man, this one particular thrift store is just unreal. I found a copy of Savage Pellucidar, Savage Pellucidar by Edgar Rice Burroughs. And it's got this lady on the front. It looks like she has a tail. It's unclear. I found Castles of Castle Perilous by John Chansey. And I think I grabbed this one solely because of the cover. We've got a T-Rex. We've got a golfer. There's a Gallimimus caddy. There's a Triceratops hanging out. I don't even... You guys take a good look at this here. This is just... It's too much. I don't even know. I couldn't walk away from that. There it is. Somebody who knows something about this, just please tell me in the comments what I need to know. The Web Between Worlds by Charles Sheffield. That's a John Berkey cover. Love that Berkey. If you want to know what makes that effect in painting, I'll tell you. That Berkey effect, that sort of swishiness. It's a knife. It's a painting knife. It's a palette knife. That's what it is. I found a weird copy of The Winds of Dune. It's not quite a trade paperback. It's like a fuck you edition. Fuck your shelf. So, there you go. Copy of the Martian Chronicles. And for all of you Star Wars people out there, this is pretty weird. This is a copy of Splinter of the Mind's Eye by Alan Dean Foster. I don't know where this fits in. This may be his version of Empire. I don't totally know. Anybody that is into them Star Warses, y'all let me know. Let's see. We've got a copy of Irving Greenfield, The Stars Will Judge, which that just looks amazing. Again, if I had a t-shirt. And let's see. We've got several Frod Saberhagen books here. We've got Pyramids by Saberhagen and After the Fact, which I'm pretty sure is a time travel novel. And then I was excited to find these vintage editions of The Restaurant at the End of the Universe, So Long and Thanks for All the Fish, and the universe, Life, the Universe, and Everything. These were the prints that I grew up with, so I feel very attached to those. We've got one other thing here that I found. It's no hardback first edition, but this does mark the earliest edition of this that I have found in the wild. This is the first paperback edition of Dune. And so this is the Ace edition. This would be 1965. And this is actually mine. I did not find this at a thrift store. There's a bookstore that I do some trading with, and I walked in there and I saw it on the shelf, and they had actually just gotten it in. And there are a couple of pages apparently along the way that the corners were taped back on, but generally it's in great condition. It's not in bad condition at all. I still have not found a Chilton version. I will one day. I will find it in a thrift store and I will pay $2 for it. I guarantee it'll happen one day. Knock on wood. But as to date, this is the oldest version of the first book that I have found, and I was very excited to find it, and it is mine. So that about does it. Thanks for coming along on this little book haul journey. There'll be more. Summer is a weird time for me for making videos. I tend to really buckle down on the video making in the colder parts of the year, which is pretty much every month but July and August here. So you'll just have to excuse my tardiness in making videos for the next few weeks as I soak in every last available photon of sunshine before it goes away. Thank you. Have a great evening.